power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, MIDTOWN, Atlanta, on this September 22nd. Just hit the date wrong. Welcome. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear, and you are that opportunity, and so am I. Wherever you are, whatever path brought you here today, you are welcome. You are welcome and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individual expression of God here and now. And however you describe yourself, your pronouns, your gender identities, we are glad you're here today. You're welcome to be part of this community in whatever way serves you. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now I'd like to share some of what we believe in our declarations of principles. It's written by Ernest Holmes.
A few of the declaration of principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
It's our new version of that. So we've got spiritual mind practitioners, and a practitioner is someone who has demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. And they've also demonstrated they know how to bring about these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are available to you to help with your spiritual guidance and support you in those areas where you're looking for assistance. You can contact them through our website, cslmidtown.org. There's a link for practitioners there. And today we've got one of our wonderful practitioners with us to share good ideas and an affirmative prayer, also called a spiritual mind treatment. I'd love to welcome this morning, Norma Roberts.
Thank you so very much, Vance, and thank you to everyone here this morning. Thank you for just being here. I'm so happy that today our message is on peace, because it gives me an opportunity to tell you of the experience I had recently. Sometimes we have distressing moments, those times when absolutely nothing goes right. But it may be those experiences that prove with the passage of time to be the greatest blessing that we could ever have. I recently had one of these experiences. What do you do when you don't know what to do? The real experience began around 5 p.m. Friday the 13th, and you know what Friday the 13th is supposed to be like. This is when I loaned my car to my daughter and expected her to return in about an hour and a half. About 7 p.m., she called and said the car wouldn't start. I was concerned because I had used it all morning and there was no indication of a problem. But she told me what they were doing and thought maybe the problem would be resolved soon. I waited and waited, and not knowing what to do. I found myself with a problem that I had absolutely no control over. So I had to make a decision. Would I make myself a victim by worrying and blaming others involved in this, or would I turn to this all-knowing mind, all-knowing power within me and seek a place of peace within myself? I couldn't get out and go in a place I had no knowledge of where they were. I just couldn't do anything. So I decided to wait and just be an observer. Remember, it started around 5. About 9 o'clock, one of my granddaughters called just to say hi. I told her what was going on, and her response was, "Don't worry, Granny, everything is going to be all right. Everything is working out just fine." This was coming from a person who is always dramatic. She's always the victim and never mind letting you know how she felt. I was shocked to hear her, of all people, say this, but it brought a moment of laughter and allowed me to recognize at this time that I had peace of mind. All this time I was not talking to anyone, and yet I was not worrying or fearful. My car never had any problems with it. It had low mileage, should not have been a problem today. But while I was not worrying or fearful, I thought maybe I was just waiting for some direction. About 10 o'clock that evening, I called my brother. He didn't answer. When I hung up the phone, I asked myself, why would I call him? What could he do at this time of the evening? He was probably in bed anyway. My brother returned my call about 11 o'clock. I told him what was going on, but I also told him the same thing that I had been thinking. He informed me that he would take care of everything right away. This is when I realized I was led to call him. I asked him what he wanted me to do. He said, "I want you to go to bed." This is when I must say that everything worked out fine. The blessing in this experience was acknowledging the all-knowing power within and finding peace of mind as an observer. The Science of Mind magazine tells us that peace on earth begins with peace in our hearts. I would like to close by reading a quote by an unknown author regarding peace, and then I will go directly into treatment. The quote is, "The peace I wish to see in others is the peace I am. Every thought, word, and action comes from knowing that I am peace. I let there be peace in all of my affairs. Therefore, I let peace begin with me. I am the peace I wish to see." So let's just get comfortable and begin our treatment. Accept everything for yourself that you can actually adhere to. Take a deep breath and remember, I recognize there is but one presence, one power, one action. The presence, power, and action of God. It is all there is to me right here and right now as absolute love and peace. I live and breathe in the knowing that I am. The understanding of unity with God where there is only oneness. I am the perfect possibility of God expressing my divinity, one with the source and supply. I am united with spirit and with humanity. I realize that what I see is a demonstration of my consciousness. Therefore, I see only the good, the true, and the beautiful. In this transforming moment of now, I speak my word for peace and understanding. I know peace within me is peace in the world, and I demonstrate my willingness to bring calm to chaos and unity where there appears to be discord. I quiet my mind and breathe the life force into my being. In my consciousness of unity, I know that I am one with all humanity. Therefore, wherever I am, only God shows up. The law goes before me, preparing my way for unlimited good. Therefore, as the self that I am, I welcome unmeasured good from unexpected sources. And I experience perfect health, abundant wealth, extraordinary creative self-expression, and wonderful personal relationships. I bring into my consciousness family and friends, allies, or opponents who exhibit the perfection that God manifests as my consciousness. I feel real and natural, healthy and kind, positive and guided. Without judgment or complaint, I relax in the confident freedom that peace always offers me as I observe it in the world. I accept it now with great gratitude and allow my word to work in the mystical way Spirit knows. As I release, I let go, I declare it is so now. As together we say, and so it is. Let it be. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
My name is Nemo.
I'm Daniel.
And we are blessed to be with you today on October 2nd to share a song that means a lot to us and deeply rooted in Gandhiji's message of nonviolence and how we all can be an instrument of love and peace. So we want to share with you a song called Instrument of Peace.
I've got my human moments when I'm less than myself. Not my favorite thing to own it, that I could use a little help. No, I may not get it perfect, but I'm trying to reach a higher place. Kinda think my boy deserves it, not to mention the human race. I'm tired of confrontation. Everybody's choosing sides, all ready for a new solution. So today I will decide, falling short a million times, been part of the problem more than I care to recognize. But I'm making up my mind this time. Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. I will be hope when there's despair. I will be faith when it's just not there. Where there is darkness all around, I'll be the light for all to see. I know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument of peace.
Lord, let me be an instrument of peace. Let me be a servant of the good while down on my knees. Let me be a quiet channel for your love to be. Let me be an instrument of peace. Please let me be the cool breeze when the summer is hot, a smiling face in the corner when our friends are not, a spark of inspiration, Lord, when the going gets tough, a piece of bread to be fed when the times are rough. Let me be a bridge of peace for people to walk on, the one to take the insults when people keep talking. I know it's hard to be full of love when feeling exhausted, but when our hearts are pure, Lord, it feels so awesome. May I be of silent service when the ego is loud, and realize that I'm nothing when in front of a crowd, cause I was born with nothing in my hands and leaving without. So Lord, please let me give myself without even counting. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. I will be hope when there's despair. And I will be faith when it's just not there. And where there is darkness all around, I'll be the light for all to see. You know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument of peace. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be an instrument of peace. Yeah. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be an instrument of peace. Yeah.
Feeling grateful for the chance to live this life with empty hands, cause what I have is not to keep, it's more for me to set it free. And when I do, it finds its way to shine a light on someone's day, to touch a heart, to heal a pain, cause this is how a life can change.
Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. I will be hope when there's despair. I will be faith when it's just not there. Where there is darkness all around, I'll be the light for all to see. You know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument.
If I could give a hug when the anger is deep, think love instead of hate when I've just been cheated, be ready to smile when in life the moments are bleak, and hold my face strong when I'm being defeated, realize that this life and body's not mine. I'm on this planet for a moment, this one moment in time. I'm just a hollow instrument that's meant to be shining light through your love, a small instrument of peace.
Instrument of peace, yeah. An instrument of peace.
Unmute.
Yeah. All right. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning, Reverend Jeff Radcliff. He was ordained by the International Metaphysical Ministry, IMM, in 2011. He was also ordained in the Divine Science, at the 107th International New Thought Alliance, the INTA World Congress in Chicago in 2022. He's a lifetime member of IMM and INTA, the Divine Science Federation International, and the affiliated New Thought Network. Reverend Jeff's online work is through Giati, Giati, God is all there is, and ministries. You can see that on facebook.com/Giati Ministries. And aside from his spiritual career, Jeff is a veteran of the United States Army, He's worked for 3 federal agencies, the Post Office, the Veterans Administration, and the FBI, as well as a contract worker for the Department of Medicare and Medicaid. He also spent a dozen years in radio working as a news and public service director and as an on-air personality. Reverend Jeff is known for his ability to find common ground with everyone he meets, and he refers to himself as a spiritual cheerleader. I give you Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for asking me to be here with you. Do you like the minister drag? I don't usually dress up, but I thought today I want to feel as much a minister as I can, because looking the part makes me feel the part, and feeling the part makes me feel peaceful. And since that's what we're going to be speaking about today, I thought that this was perfect for that. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind joining me with in a little quick prayer, let's close our eyes and we'll go within to the quiet place where truth resides. And there is only one presence existing in and expressing as each one of us. This presence is equally and evenly present throughout the universe, which it created out of itself. It was never born, and it cannot die. It is with us every step of our life journey, because we are that presence in physical form. The presence contains all knowledge, all wisdom, and that wisdom and knowledge resides within us now. So we set aside this time together as sacred time to dive into this knowledge, to delve into the wisdom of the One. This time, this sacred time, is our time to open to learning and growing and expressing more fully the presence that is us. We know that the oneness of all is merely concealed by a misguided idea of separation and thoughts of duality. And as we become more fully aware of our oneness, we heal the world and bring it back to what it was before it became tainted with thoughts of separation. So with gratitude and calm assurance that all is well, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of how things look, we relax and know that we are peace. And that peace radiates out into the world around us and is sensed and felt by each individualization of the presence. And those individualizations also begin to radiate peace. Peace is what we are. And so we sit for just a moment and allow this knowledge to be so. And we give thanks for this opportunity to share sacred time and space together in this classroom we call Zoom. We bless each other, we bless this time together, and we open our hearts to bless the world. And so it is. Amen. So, I got to tell you, I was very, very honored to receive an email a few weeks ago asking me if I would come and speak to you all. And I am so very grateful that came from Maya and John Karn. We took a homiletics class a few months ago, and part of the class dealt with giving talks, and for a lot of people there in the class, they had never done public speaking. Well, toward the end of the class, I ended up in the hospital, had a severe gallbladder attack and needed my gallbladder removed. So for the last class, I was to deliver a talk, and I was still on pain meds. And so it was probably not one of my finer moments. And I did promise Reverend John that he'd get a better talk from me today. Yesterday was the International Day of Peace. It's also known as World Peace Day. It's a United Nations sanctioned holiday observed annually on the 21st of September, and it's dedicated to world peace and specifically to the absence of war and violence. And so that seems to be what most people think of when they think of the word peace anyway. it's no wonder when you have news of active military conflicts going on in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe, and saber rattling in Far East Asia, even here in the United States. To most people, peace is the equivalent of the absence of war, but we are a very warlike society. We have a war on drugs. We have a war on crime. There are factions in our country who have declared war on migrants. Many Christian churches emphasize the idea of war in an effort to combat some sort of perceived evil. They speak of putting on the whole armor of God. That's out of the Bible, the book of Ephesians. It mentions the breastplate of righteousness and the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of truth, all weapons of the quote unquote true believer. But on the other hand, we are also exhorted by the master teacher, the Christed one, Jesus, who said not to be afraid when we hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's easier said than done if you're listening to the news, because that's all we're inundated with on the television and on the radio. Many New Thought churches and centers conclude their services with the peace song, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." A lot of people, though, don't know the story behind that particular song. It was written in 1955 by a woman named Evelyn Merchant. Now, Evelyn had a couple of different personas. She used different names. She used aliases because Evelyn Merchant was, she started her career doing radio programs. She was an actress on the radio back in the day. And then she moved into films. And she went by the name of Harleen Wood. And you can still find her movies out there, Harleen Wood. She was also known by another professional name, Jill Jackson Miller. As she got that name, the last name, from her husband, who was a songwriter named Cy Miller. And it was under Jill Jackson Miller that she wrote "Let There Be Peace on Earth." So, world peace. It's what most folks think about when they hear the word peace. They may also think of the anti-war movement of the 60s, the hippies, the protest songs. John Lennon's song, "Give Peace a Chance," immediately comes to my mind. But how do we get to world peace? Well, we get there just like anything else we desire to manifest. We start with ourselves. We go within, because you can't have peace in the outer world if you're not peaceful in your inner world. Manifesting works from the inside out. So inner peace is crucial if we're going to see peace in the world at large. Shirley MacLaine once wrote that inner peace is the most valued state of being in the universe. And it is, because if we can cultivate peace within, then we can allow it to spread outward. Kind of like the ripples in a still pond when you drop in a pebble. The master teacher Jesus often went away by himself to pray and to meditate, to recharge, before he continued working with teaching and healing the masses. And I guess being around so many people in mental and physical distress, it was pretty taxing. And he needed to return to that center in order to continue working with the people in need. And how many of us in New Thought have adopted his admonition to the storm, "Peace, be still," whenever storms are raging in our own lives or in the lives of our friends and loved ones? Fannie B. James, who was one of the co-founders of Divine Science, said in her book, Selected Bible Readings, "In the understanding of the one that is all power, there's perfect peace. The infinite is all-inclusive, hence all things rest within infinite presence. And this presence is peace. Peace, be still." So peace is an inside job. Anybody who's ever flown on an airplane will think about the flight attendant instructing passengers that in case of an emergency, be sure to put on your own oxygen mask first before you tend to other people. We know that we can't minister to the world if we don't minister to ourselves first. So it behooves us to follow the Christ's example, to go away for a little while, to enter into our closet and shut the door and commune with Spirit. Ernest Holmes mentioned inner peace several times in his various writings throughout the year. In Words That Heal Today, he wrote, God is peace. We enter this peace in such degree as we withdraw from confusion. And later in the book, he says, if there's anything we need, it's peace of mind. Without it, life is not worthwhile. Peace of mind comes when there's a personal and collective sense of security, and this sense of security comes when there is a sense of belonging to the universe. Ernest goes on to say, Jesus knew that no one is or ever can become sufficient unto himself. It's when the soul returns to its source and finds its true center in pure spirit that it enters into the peace which the wise one said the world cannot give. But one of my favorites quotes from Ernest comes from the Basic Ideas of Science of Mind, when he said, be still, still in every way, and accept that peace of God, knowing it now heals everything within you that hurts, and that its calming action enfolds all your experience. Think peace, feel peace, know that you are peace, because you are a definite, specific expression of God manifesting as you. And building on that idea, Joel Goldsmith said in The Art of Meditation, as we turn to the kingdom of our inner self, we find the reign of divine power in the outer world. And as we seek peace within, we find harmony without. We reach the depth of the soul, and it takes over our existence, providing activity and newness of life, a peace and serenity, the like of which we've never dreamed. We can dream of the peace because as we cultivate it within ourselves, we know that it goes into the outer world where we are all one, and it becomes a manifest reality. The inner peace that we gain by doing our inner work takes on a life of its own. It goes first to our households, and then to our neighborhoods, to our towns, our state, our country, and finally into the world itself. Because we're one, we know that each time we raise our own vibration of inner peace, others' vibrations will begin to rise as well. And science teaches a concept called entrainment, which is when a rhythm or something that varies rhythmically causes another to gradually fall into synchrony with it. So it's the best way I can find to explain that is if we have a room with two harps or two guitars or maybe two pianos. And if you pluck a string on the harp or the guitar, or if you hit the string on the piano by hitting a key, it begins to vibrate. It causes a sound, but the sound comes from the vibration. And the corresponding string on the second harp or the guitar or on the piano will begin to vibrate because they're on the same wavelength. This even works with different instruments, a combination. It works if you have the piano and just the guitar. So you hit that note on the piano, and the corresponding guitar string is going to vibrate as well. It's the vibration itself, not the instrument, that's the operative thing. And so in that way, people around the world are pretty close to the same wavelength that we're on. We can level them up, so to speak, to match our vibration. And as the saying goes, when the tide comes in, all ships rise. But there are also times when we need to level up whenever we're in a situation where our vibration is not quite where it needs to be. Author, poet, and philosopher Emily Marushin said, be selective in your focus because your attention feeds the energy of it and keeps it alive, not just within you, but in the collective consciousness as well. Jung called it the collective unconscious. Ernest called it race mind, but it's the same thing. And once we're entrained with others and they with us, we move on into what quantum physics would call entanglement, which basically, to my understanding, very briefly, entanglement means when something has interacted with something else. Once they've interacted, the two are then linked from that moment forward. And there's really no way to avoid entanglement. The thing is, we're all entangled with all of creation because there's only one, and it's us. Minister Irvin Seal wrote in his book, Why Doesn't God? If God could act as a person, he would prevent war, heal all the sick and diseased, establish peace and brotherhood and plenty all over the earth, enforce the golden rule everywhere. But God cannot do these things except through and as man, for man is the individualization of God, and his realm is the personal, the particular, while the realm of God is the universal and the general. So, in a sense, however, God does all these things even when they're done through man, for man and God are a unity, and the actor is the same whether working on the plane of the universal or on the plane of the particular. So, um, it's it is one of those things that we can remember in moments of contemplation. Sometimes when we're what I call in the knee deep in the hoopla, when things are getting a little dramatic, that we tend to forget that. But we need to know definitely and absolutely. Uh, Joseph Murphy said that whatever contributes to your peace, your happiness, your fulfillment must of necessity bless all people who walk the earth. And so it behooves us to always try to remember. Uh, Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones said in The Art of Being, the secret of inner peace is being present enough in every moment to witness how we see the world and ourselves, and accordingly, where we place our power. So it's up to us to maintain our vibration at the highest level that we can muster, because we're influencing the rest of the world around us. And by the same token, we're being influenced by the world around us. Those times when we feel our vibrations slipping, lowering, whether it's due to what we're thinking or maybe what somebody else is thinking, and we're picking it up out of the blue because we're entrained, we're tuned in, we're entangled. It's those times when we need to rise up in vibration, and we need to learn to bring up not just ourselves, but to know that as we do that, those in the world who we're interacting with on a level we don't see or even understand, they're rising as well. So if we're going to have world peace, we have to have it first within, because it all works from the inside out. It's not something we create, it's not something we attract, because creation and attraction imply a separateness from us, a duality. And we are not a duality movement. New Thought is a movement of unity, of oneness. So peace is not something out there, it's inherent within us because we are divinity and we express that which is inherent in the divine. We are peace. And we're here today, Deepak Chopra said, to be the presence of love. We're here to be the presence of joy. We're here to be the presence of peace. So my challenge to you today is the same challenge that I give to myself. It's not to get caught up in the error thinking of the world. When we hear about wars and armed conflicts and strife in various parts of the world, we stop and we remind ourselves that we are divine and we can express whatever principle of spirit we desire. And in this case, we would desire peace. And we can express the principle of peace. We can withdraw our attention from the discord and strife and think instead on the things that make us feel peaceful. We focus on our inner peace and know that as we do that, we're dropping a pebble into the pond of divine mind, which will ripple out into consciousness of everyone else, and we will know that all others are also feeling peace. We allow it to be so, and we trust that we perceive with our bodily senses, and that they will catch up with what we perceive with our inner senses, that all are one, all have and are peace. And so today we can affirm, I look within for peace, and I let there be peace. Thank you again for allowing me to speak to you today, and I wish you a joyous rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jeff. An awesome talk on peace this morning. And thank you, Reverend, or Norma. Elevate her. So that has been an amazing adventure this morning into peace. So it's now our time for conscious giving. And I would like to invite everyone who's hearing this or seeing this whenever to consider contributing. We are bringing you all of these wonderful ministers to give us great inspiration. And I hope you're finding value in that. And as the president of the board, it's kind of what we're working toward, to give everybody that is a member or joining us at Centers for Spiritual Living MIDTOWN an opportunity to grow themselves, to learn to be better in this world that we're living in. And this talk this morning was an example of that. You can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate. And I'm going to do our affirmation for prosperity. And there's a QR code here that you can scan and take you right to the donation site. You can do a one-time donation or set up an ongoing donation to support this work. So now I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And I've got a few announcements. There's a reminder. So we've got next week, September 29th, Reverend Dr. Mignon Pollard is back with us. At 10 a.m. Every Sunday, we've got the discussion group, which is going over the Science of Mind textbook. You don't have to have read it. You can come and participate, or if you're reading along with them, you can do that as well. Right now, after the service, you can join us over on Zoom. You can get there by going to cslmidtown.org just cslmidtown.org. Scroll down. There's a link for a Zoom and there's a passcode. So remember the passcode, click the link. It will take you into the room, and then we can have a discussion with Reverend Jeff about his talk and some interesting things this morning. Thanks again to our practitioner, Norma Roberts, this morning. And I will now leave us with our affirmation of life. I leave this place now, knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Have an awesome week, everybody.